I'd give it a few days and wait and see. We're going to see some more polls out in the coming days, but I think initially it does show that Boris Johnson's approval ratings look like they're going to bounce back in response to Ukraine. I suppose to a certain extent that should be expected. It moves the conversation away from Partygate and towards an area that's a lot better for the Conservatives and the Conservative Party brand, defence and national security. And also it gives the Prime Minister the opportunity to look prime ministerial and strong again after those scandals that have plagued his leadership over the last few weeks. So I think to a certain extent this was to be expected, but I do think this increase in support for Boris Johnson that we've seen from this one poll, we'll look out to see if it's replicated in others. It is a bit bigger than us pollsters would probably have expected.
I read what you wrote last night on this, that you couldn't work out if this is something to do with Boris Johnson being this sort of remarkably bouncy politician that seems to defy political gravity so often, or if this is something about the times in which we live. Could you expand upon that?
Yeah, I mean, not very long ago, we were looking at Boris Johnson's approval ratings and, seeing one of the most unpopular prime ministers this country's had in recent times. And normally the kind of approval ratings that you only ever see for a prime minister in their dying days in office. And so I think the prediction most of us would have made at that point is that it would be very difficult for him to end up coming back from that and to do so. Now, don't get me wrong, he still hasn't completely come back from that. We've seen one poll where his numbers are still just a bit bad rather than very bad. But I think that getting to a place now where he's a bit bad does mean that a political comeback for him, where he looks like the kind of person who could win the next election, it is certainly feasible. Whereas a few weeks ago, I would have said that that's an incredibly unlikely situation to end up in.